Welcome back to another edition of Mystery Tool Monday here at Tusa Acres. Today we're going to be going over these weird looking screwdrivers. Some are called wedge screwdrivers, some are called screw starting screwdrivers, some are called screw holding drivers or screw holding screwdrivers. And if you stick around to the end, we're going to do a quick sneak peek at next week's mystery tool. Alright, so in all honesty, I don't use these a whole lot. I have them, every now and then you need them. I'll bet less than once in every 6 months I'll actually need something like this. Granted, I'm not always doing this kind of work. Now I have 3 different kinds here, and I also dug out my little magnetizer for screwdrivers, and we'll go over that here in a second too. And that's honestly my preferred method, is to use the magnetizer to magnetize screwdrivers. However, a lot of times you end up with non-ferrous screws, whether it's stainless steel or brass. But we're going to go over that, and that's where these other ones would come in handy. Alright, so I'm resetting here. I had to adjust my lighting. I was having a really hard time seeing these. Alright, so I got 3 basic kinds here. Alright, we've got screw holding screw starters or screwdrivers. And we've got this wedge type here, which is pretty neat. It's got this little, it's a straight slot that's got a nice little wedge in the middle of it. And when you push your thumb slide up, it actually wedges those two together, where it'll grab onto your screw, okay? Then the rest of these are all kind of well, at least these middle ones here are all a different kind of wedge, but basically they have 2 outer prongs. Let's use the biggest one so I can get a better view of it. There we go. Even though it's the shortest one, it's got the biggest head on it here. So it's got 2 prongs on the outside that would fit in your straight slot, and then that little guy in the middle there, right? So when we turn it, it goes flat. See, it goes straight there. When you let it go, there's a little release mechanism here. When you let that go, that centerpiece goes sideways like that. So let's go ahead and lock that one onto a screw. All right, so there's our screw. I'll just hold it like that, release this, and it grabs right on. That little wedge in the middle there really hangs on tight, and this has actually got a really strong hold. So those are pretty handy, pretty useful. See, this is literally the exact same way. It's just a little bit smaller of a centerpiece in there. These 2, I believe, are snap-ons, yep. And they work pretty much the same way. This one looks like it's probably more for a, come on, focus. This one looks like it's probably more for a Phillips, so let's give it a shot here. I haven't actually used this one. Nope, definitely does not work in a Phillips at all. Let's try a straight slot. So that guy works in that straight slot just fine. And it's actually really snug as well. So this one here has actually got a pretty pointy tip on it. And that centerpiece there, the center wedge, is a little bit wider than those other ones. But here's another one of those snap-on ones, and it has the same style as the first couple we looked at there, where it's got the 2 bigger outside prongs and one in the middle. But functionally it works exactly the same. These are just a little bit longer and thinner. I just realized that these 2 snap-on ones are actually electricians' screw holding screwdrivers. They got the little voltage limits on them. So that's what those ones are for specifically. I mean, same function, right? All right, so here's one that's actually a Phillips driver, or Phillips screw starter. Has a slide collar on it with a spring-loaded end on it. So you would slide your collar up, insert it into the grooves of the Phillips head like that, pull your collar back, and it hangs onto it. It's a little wobbly, but I'm sure you could get it to work. Now this wedge one, this is actually a brand called Quick Wedge. And Mr. Pete just did a video on these. It's pretty cool. My uncle gave me this to do a video on specifically. This one works simply by these 2 pieces wedging apart. They literally have a split in them, and it just grabs right on. You can actually see it there where they're actually cut that way. So let's give that one a shot right quick. Can use a little bit bigger screw on these. Now that gives a good strong hold. I mean really strong. You would almost need to release it in order to release it. Yeah, that's a really, really snug hold. That one you could do whatever you needed to. It is not going anywhere. Holy cow. Okay, so that's that one. Now we have these Craftsman screw holding screwdrivers, and again, they have, this one could probably work on a medium Phillips. See that? It's just a little spring-loaded dude here that you can push up, and it just grabs the head of the screw. So let's grab a smaller flathead. We'll use a non-ferrous here, or yeah, non-ferrous. This is a stainless steel. It just grabs on there. And that's it. They're a little wobbly, doesn't hold on too strong, but all you're looking to do is to get it started, right? See? And it's kind of nice that it's got the little spinner on it, so you got something to hold on to. Again, a little wobbly. It might be a bit of a pain in the butt, but it would still work. Here's a small Phillips, same. Do the same thing, we'll grab it on here. Grabs right on. The Phillips, on this style, the little claws there, the screw holding, it's definitely a little bit better with the Phillips than it was with the straight slot. Okay, and then finally a bigger straight slot. This one's a little more robust, and it's got a different kind of spring mechanism. I don't know what. Maybe it's just this coil spring here is on the inside of the shaft on that one. I'm not really sure, because you can't see any springs on these two here. But this one, there's a big coil spring, and that's what gives you your return. So let's go ahead and grab another one. You have to slide it in a little funky there, but yeah, it holds on pretty good. Not too bad. Again, it's got a slider or a spin mechanism, so that's nice. I'm not sure what this collar was for. Maybe it's supposed to go, I don't know. That collar is just there. Okay, so that's that one, and it does work pretty good. So these are all great for the non-ferrous, but honestly, for the ferrous stuff, this little dude right here, you can pick these up for $1.98 or whatever it is at Harbor Freight, and it works just like this. So here's a magnet, right? Okay, it's definitely a ferrous screw. It's not grabbing it at all, right? So let's go ahead and run it through this bugger here. Just, 5 or 6 passes through the magnetic field there will make it so that it actually works. There we go. And it's got a pretty good hold on it too. So that's what I generally do if I'm working with ferrous materials, magnetic material. And then if you want to undo that, you literally just run it along the edge of this thing. Now you can actually take these rubber bands off, or these are just O-rings, but you can pull those off and flip it around and run it through the middle of it. But I found it works just as good to run along the outside edge. There's a little groove there. Just back and forth, spin it a few times while you're doing that. And here's our same screw. Nothing. I mean, nothing. So it works really, really well. Does the same thing with the flathead, straight slot, whatever you want to call it. Picks it up no problem. Now flatheads, when you're magnetized, it's a pain in the butt, right? But if you're reaching way down in or going straight up and down, you can usually get it to work. What I usually do is just find a Phillips screw. Okay, and then same thing, if you want to undo it, just run along the edge and it will reverse, just pull the magnetism out of it. And if you want to learn how the physics of that works, throw it in the comment section. I can put something together. Not a physics teacher, but I do enjoy this stuff. All right, so that's it for our mystery tool this week. Screw holding screwdrivers, or screw starting screwdrivers, or wedge screwdrivers. Pretty much same for the same purpose, same function. Now next week I've got this here, and honestly I'm still trying to figure out exactly what it is. So if anybody out there has an idea, please throw it in the comment section. I'll look it up and research it the best I can. I found something that I think this might be, but I have not been able to find any markings on it whatsoever. It doesn't look homemade, but who knows? I couldn't tell you for sure. I'm assuming it had some sort of handle material on it at some point, and that probably had the manufacturer's name. Doesn't really look like it's been modified or cut or changed. It looks like this is how it would have been manufactured. So again, if you got any guesses or ideas for it, please throw it in the comments. All right, well that's it for this week. I appreciate you stopping by. If you guys got any suggestions on future tools, please throw that in the comments as well. I'll look into it. I may or may not have it laying around the shop here. I'm always looking for new ideas. If you haven't seen the other ones, I've got a whole pile of tools down here. Please check out those videos. Keep yanking on them bootstraps. We'll catch you on the next video.